Welcome to Chronicles and Legends. Please hit that subscribe and let us know in the comments where in the world are you tuning in from. Tonight, we descend into one of the darkest secrets hidden within angelic lore. A secret so terrifying, even the most devout theologians whisper its name only behind closed cathedral doors. This is not a story of winged saviors, golden harps, and gentle blessings. This is a story of the Black Angel, the harbinger of silence, feared by all beings, mortal and immortal. Known by many names, Azrael, Malik al-Maut, the silent collector, the angel of inevitable end. This being exists in the shadows between life and eternity. It is said that if you see the Black Angel, it is not because he has come for your soul. It is because your soul has already been claimed. And tonight, we will explore the origins, hidden lore, mysterious manifestations, and final purpose of the Black Angel and what awaits those it visits. But before we begin, be warned. What you will hear is not folklore alone. Echoes of the Black Angel permeate scriptures, apocrypha, grimoires, and the forgotten dreams of those who survived near-death awakenings. By the end of this investigation, you will understand why the sight of Azrael is the last sight your mind can comprehend. If you're ready, step with me now into the silent realm between heartbeats, where the angel of death watches, waits, and remembers every name. In popular Christian angelology, the archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael take center stage, with Uriel sometimes included. But hidden within medieval Islamic mysticism, Kabbalistic texts, and Gnostic fragments is a fourth archangel, equally powerful, yet cloaked in fear and inevitability. This is Azrael, the Black Angel. Unlike Michael, the warrior, or Gabriel, the messenger, Azrael's dominion is termination itself. His name is believed to derive from the Hebrew Azrael, meaning whom God helps. But in Arabic, Malik al-Maut simply translates to angel of death. This duality, helper and destroyer, is at the heart of his paradoxical existence. According to fragmented early Islamic lore, when God created Azrael, he was unlike any other angel. His body stretched from the pillars of the earth to the vault of the highest heaven. His wings were 4,000 in number, each feather containing galaxies unseen by mortal eyes. His entire body was covered in eyes and tongues, every tongue speaking the name of a living being, every eye witnessing their life until its final flicker. When the creation of humanity was decreed, God commanded Azrael, "Take the dust from every corner of the earth and deliver it to me." It was Azrael who obeyed without question, gathering black clay, red sand, white dust, and golden silt, all combined to create the first human. For this obedience, God granted Azrael dominion over the souls born of this earth. But with this power came a curse. While other angels performed duties in heaven or battled demons across creation, Azrael alone remains at the threshold of life, forever witnessing the agony, fear, and surrender of each death. Every scream, every final whisper, every soul's last memory. This eternal witnessing changed him. While other angels radiate divine light, Azrael's visage grew dark with the shadows of uncountable endings. His eyes, it is said, no longer reflect heaven's glory, only the silent despair of life's termination. Scriptures speak of angels dwelling near God's throne or descending upon earth to fulfill divine orders. But Azrael's dwelling is neither in heaven nor earth. The Book of Secrets of Prophet Idris, an obscure Islamic esoteric text, describes his realm. Between the Garden of Rest and the Pit of Suffering lies the Veil of Silence. There sits Azrael upon the throne of shadowed wings from where he sees all that breathes. Here, in the Veil of Silence, flows the river of departure. Souls enter the river upon death, and Azrael cups them in his blackened hands, lifting them to their destined realm. Some souls glow golden in his grasp, singing praises even as they leave flesh. Others are ashen, silent, or screaming in horror. But to Azrael, all are equal. All are necessary. Esoteric Kabbalists and certain Sufi orders speak of the Black Book of Azrael, an immaterial tome suspended before him. It contains every name ever spoken, written in ash upon darkness. When a name glows dim within its pages, Azrael's gaze falls upon it, and the threads of that life unravel instantly. Some traditions claim the book is not read, but felt, each fading name sending a shiver through Azrael's infinite being. This is how he knows it is time. Unlike Gabriel, who arrives with luminous brilliance, or Michael, who appears in radiant armor, Azrael's arrival is marked by sudden stillness. Birds fall silent. Insects stop their restless hum. The breeze halts midair. Time, for a moment, holds its breath. The dying often report seeing a tall figure draped in shadow, its robe absorbing all light. No discernible face, only darkness where features should be. Eyes like dying embers, flickering red, then black, then gone. A cold, numbing peace, stripping away all fear and desire. In near-death experience accounts across cultures, one detail remains eerily consistent: the presence of an ancient, unknowable being, radiating neither malice nor comfort, only inevitability. Azrael never speaks. Unlike Michael's commands or Gabriel's proclamations, Azrael's silence is his voice. Those he comes for feel an irresistible pull, as though their name has been called in a language older than creation. It is said if you hear his voice, it is only your own, echoing back at you from within his eternal darkness. Though singular in dominion, Azrael is not alone. Ancient Jewish angelology and Islamic esoteric texts describe the lesser angels of death, countless entities under Azrael's command. Each lesser angel carries out the death decree for individual creatures, plants, and even falling stars. Azrael oversees them all, gathering their collected souls within his vast essence before they are cast upon the scales of judgment. These lesser angels are said to appear as pale shadows rippling across walls, flickering lights in the eyes of the dying. Dark birds gathered upon rooftops before death occurs. They do not act from malice, but from necessity. For in the grand design, life is meaningless without death's embrace. In some Kabbalistic traditions, Azrael is confused with Samael, the angel of poison, destruction, and severity. While Samael acts with violent force and delivers punishment, Azrael is neutral, silent, and compassionate in his inevitability. The confusion arises because both are agents of endings. But while Samael kills with wrath, Azrael ends with silence. Their difference is the difference between murder and burial, violence versus acceptance. Ancient mystical traditions, from Kabbalah to Sufi Gnosis, speak of the silver cord, an ethereal tether connecting the soul to its earthly vessel. At the moment of death, it is Azrael who severs this cord. Unlike the quickness of a sword's cut, this severing is described as an unraveling. 1. First, the cord slackens and consciousness begins to detach. 2. Memory loosens from the brain, flooding the soul with images of life's entirety. 3. Finally, Azrael's hand closes upon the frayed cord and pulls it free from the flesh. Many near-death experiencers report the feeling of being lifted from within their own body, as if drawn upward by a force both loving and cold, gentle yet inescapable. This paradox reflects Azrael's very nature, a mercy embedded within a curse. Kabbalistic angelology states that before Azrael releases his soul into the afterlife, he holds before them the mirror of final truth. In it, the dying see their unvarnished self, stripped of illusions, excuses, and delusions. They see every kindness they ever gave, every cruelty they inflicted, every opportunity ignored, every love lost or rejected. This vision is not judgment, it is preparation. For no soul can cross the river of departure, blind to its own becoming. Mystical Islamic hadiths describe Azrael's touch as that of a burning coal wrapped in ice. The soul feels both fire and frost simultaneously, dissolving attachment to body while igniting awareness of spirit. One 12th century Persian manuscript recounts, "When Azrael's fingers closed upon my spirit, my body burned with cold and my mind froze with flame. Only then did I know what I truly was, neither flesh nor breath, but a name written upon the dark." Scriptures and Apocrypha agree that Azrael's gaze pierces beyond endings. Sitting upon his throne of shadowed wings, Azrael sees 1. The birth of worlds. He witnessed the forging of suns and the cooling of planets. 2. The rise of souls. Every spirit's birth is known to him, for its death is already written within him. 3. The end of time. Azrael alone sees the silent darkening when all light is recalled and only God remains. It is said that on the last day, Azrael will harvest the final soul. And then, with no more names to hold, no more lives to witness, he will turn his gaze upon himself. In that moment, the black book closes, erasing all names. The veil of silence collapses as its purpose is fulfilled. Azrael will speak his only word since creation: enough. With that single utterance, time itself will end, and the universe will fold into God's silent embrace. Sufi mystics believe Azrael will weep once, only once, upon the final death. His tears will be black as the void between stars, and where they fall upon the dust of endings, a new creation will bloom, untouched by pain or death. In this prophecy, Azrael is not only the end, but also the seed of beginnings. Modern near-death experiencers across faiths and cultures describe a strikingly consistent figure: a tall, shrouded presence, blacker than darkness, standing at the foot of their bed. No face, only the sense of an ancient, infinite awareness observing them. A feeling of peace laced with dread, as though something final is being decided. One ICU survivor wrote in her private journal, "I awoke to darkness thicker than sleep. At the end of my bed stood a figure, veiled in shadows, silent. I felt my soul rise like smoke towards him. But a voice, I think it was my daughter praying, called me back. He did not move, nor speak. He only watched as I returned to life." Traditional occult grimoires warn that seeing Azrael in dreams is a rare omen. If he speaks your name, death is near. If he turns away without speaking, your life is granted extension, but only to fulfill an uncompleted destiny. If he touches you, a part of your life will end. A relationship, a career, a phase of being, to make way for something new. Nurses in palliative wards sometimes speak of the silence, an unexplained stillness moments before death. Machines hum softer, the room's shadows darken, and patients often stare wide-eyed into a corner, as if greeting an unseen visitor. One palliative nurse wrote anonymously, "I have been present at over 100 deaths. Each time I feel it. The silence enters before death, like a void pressing down on the air. I believe it is Azrael. He does not take them. He receives them." Despite his terrifying aspect, theological scholars argue Azrael is not evil, nor does he derive pleasure from endings. He is pure function, the necessary shadow cast by the light of creation. For without death, life loses urgency. Love loses its sacredness. Souls remain trapped in decaying vessels, unable to ascend. In this sense, Azrael is the hidden mercy within divine design. Certain Sufi traditions describe Azrael weeping silently whenever he takes a righteous soul, mourning their departure from beauty and suffering simultaneously. In the Book of Hidden Names, it is written, "Azrael is the final caress, the last embrace before the soul remembers its truest home." Imagine witnessing every death, from newborns taking their first and last breath within seconds, to kings dying alone upon golden beds, every war's scream, every plague's moan, every final gasp of a dying creature in the wilderness. Azrael carries these within his wings. Some say this is why they are black, not from evil, but from the ash of uncountable endings. Throughout history, dark mystics and necromancers have attempted to invoke Azrael for forbidden knowledge. The ritual of the black candle, performed at midnight on a new moon. Lighting a candle made from the fat of a crow, chanting Azrael's secret name to seek his vision of endings. The veil severance rite, an act of spiritual suicide to force Azrael's appearance prematurely. Few survive with sanity intact. All grimoires warn, to call upon Azrael is to call upon the end of something you hold dear. His presence is never without cost. Those who attempt these rites often report dreams of endless darkness, voices whispering their name backward, and the taste of ash upon waking. All Abrahamic eschatologies describe a day when the fabric of reality tears open, revealing a judgment long foretold. While Gabriel is prophesied to blow the horn of resurrection, it is Azrael who executes the final harvest. In Islamic Hadith traditions, the day of Qiyamah begins with Israfil's trumpet blast, but ends with Azrael reaping every remaining soul. 1. The first blast renders all creatures unconscious. 2. The second blast kills them outright, leaving none but Azrael himself. 3. In the silence that follows, God asks, "Who remains?" And Azrael replies, "You, O Lord, who never dies, and I your servant." 4. God then commands, "Die, Azrael." And Azrael, obedient to the end, lays down his essence, tasting the death he delivered to all beings. Thus, death itself dies. In this moment, Azrael's existence, the embodiment of endings, dissolves and death is no more. This mirrors the book of Revelation 21-4, which proclaims, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." Azrael's dissolution signals the birth of eternity unbroken by endings. Azrael in Judaism. In Jewish mysticism, the angel of death is often unnamed, but Midrash texts equate him with Samael, a fierce, poisonous destroyer. Yet in Kabbalah, Azrael emerges as a separate entity, not a punisher but a transitioner, escorting righteous souls with care. One 14th century commentary states, "He approaches the dying as a lover approaches his beloved, lifting their soul as one lifts a child from dark water into the sun." Azrael in Christianity. While not named in canonical texts, Christian lore depicts the angel of death as a dark, winged reaper carrying a scythe, a medieval interpretation inspired by Azrael's Islamic identity, merged with Europe's plague death imagery. However, deeper theological writings suggest Azrael is an agent of God's mercy, freeing souls from the decaying cage of flesh. The scythe represents harvesting wheat, a metaphor for souls gathered into God's granary. Azrael in Islamic tradition. Islamic theology describes Azrael in vivid detail. His body spans from east to west, covered in 1 billion eyes and tongues, each representing a living being. At every death, the corresponding eye closes and its tongue falls silent. He knows every creature, yet feels neither pride nor sorrow, only completion of duty. Azrael in Persian Sufism. In Sufi poetry, Azrael is not feared but embraced. When Azrael arrives, do not tremble. He comes as a midwife, not as a slayer, to deliver you from the womb of the world into the vastness of God. Here, death is not an end but birth into boundless truth. Azrael in folk magic. In medieval grimoires and folk necromancy, Azrael's name is invoked. to end curses, for he severs all ties, to commune with the dead as he carries souls between realms, to gain secret knowledge, for he knows the truths hidden from the living. However, all texts warn, speak his name only in need, for to draw AZRAEL'S gaze is to shorten your path to him. A comprehensive survey of near-death experiences testimonies reveals recurring descriptions of AZRAEL-like entities, shadowed figures with unseen faces, emanating calm inevitability, silent communication, where understanding passes without words, feelings of total surrender, not out of terror, but of an unbreakable acceptance. One cardiac arrest survivor wrote, "I floated above my body, watching the doctor's work. Beside me stood a tall, robed being with no face, only darkness. I felt him ask without words, 'Are you ready?' And in that instant, my life reattached to my body like a snapped cord pulled taut." Throughout Europe and the Americas, cemetery statues of the Black Angel stand as silent guardians. Local legends whisper, touching the statue brings death within a year. Pregnant women who pass beneath its gaze miscarry, for the angel claims souls too soon born. Most famous is the Black Angel of Oakland Cemetery, Iowa, a bronze statue turned black with age, rumored to be cursed by AZRAEL'S very shadow. Clinical psychologists studying death anxiety report patients dreaming of a silent hooded figure before surgery or during terminal illness. Though interpretations vary, the consistency of imagery across cultures suggests an archetypal manifestation rooted in AZRAEL'S universal presence. Occult grimoires stress that knowing an angel's true name grants influence over its presence. For AZRAEL, such knowledge is both dangerous and forbidden. One forbidden manuscript, the Book of Shadowed Tongues, lists these secret epithets. 1. Zaruthil, the silence between heartbeats. 2. Malak Hamavet, the angel of death, Hebrew. 3. Azrael, whom God helps, Arabic, Aramaic. 4. The Eclipsed One, name used by Sufi necromancers. 5. The Last Witness, used in grimoires to emphasize his omnipresent finality. But all texts agree. Speak these names only once, lest he come to stand beside you until your candle's last flicker. Is AZRAEL alone? A final terrifying teaching of hidden angelology is that AZRAEL is the only angel who remains untouched by sin or rebellion. When Lucifer fell, Michael battled and Gabriel wept for humanity. AZRAEL continued his silent work, untempted and unchanging. His existence is pure obedience, a living reminder that all creation bows to endings. Despite his terrifying visage, AZRAEL'S mercy is absolute. He takes the suffering of death upon himself. He lifts the soul free from decaying flesh. He delivers them to judgment or paradise without delay. For some, this is horror. For others, liberation. Tonight we walk in the silent shadow of AZRAEL, the Black Angel, harvester of souls, witness to every beginning and every end. He is neither enemy nor friend. He is the threshold itself. He is silence given form, darkness woven with compassion, an inevitability born from the fabric of creation. And when your candle flickers its last glow, and you feel a presence beside you, silent, dark, endless, know that it is not death you see, but the angel who carries you beyond death into truth. Because endings are not darkness. Endings are the doorway to what was always waiting for you. If you felt the silence tonight, subscribe to Chronicles and Legends. Like this video to keep these forbidden teachings alive. Comment below. What would you say to AZRAEL if you saw him at your bedside? Remember, death does not come to take. Death comes to deliver. And AZRAEL is the hand that lifts you through the veil.